Self-employed and wonder if there's any more government help for you? Well, watch on, as there's some good news. As a business accountant, my team and I spend all day long helping business owners on their journey, and one of the key things we've had to do during this last 6 to 7 month period over the lockdown is help digest the constant stream of information from the government, changing information and the reliefs that are potentially available. I think it's nearly impossible to know, if you're just not in this all the time, what reliefs you could potentially benefit from. So hopefully through these YouTube channels, the podcast, the blogs and everything else we do, you're going to have some idea of what help is available. And if you've seen our previous videos on the self-employed income support scheme, which I'm hoping we'll link probably just about up here, you'll have seen that there are some possibilities for some help from the government if you qualified. And I use the word if you qualified. So they've announced that there is another grant coming, and in this video I want to share the details of that with you. Now before I do, if you enjoy these type of videos, make sure to click the subscribe button below so you get notified whenever we release more just like it. So let's get into it. So it's good to say there are already 2 previous grants. So this is grant number 3 that's been announced, and in fact grant number 4, which we touched on during this video. So what happened is, in the Winter Economy Plan speech, that was the Chancellor's name for this particular speech he gave, he announced some further measures, and one of them was that the Self-Employed Income Support Scheme would have a 3rd and 4th grant. Now, originally it was announced that this grant would be 20% of your average trading profits. And again, I'd ask you, if you haven't heard this before or know anything about the scheme, to check out the previous videos, just so we talk a little bit more in depth about some of the pitfalls and the areas where you can actually fall outside just because you're self-employed. You might have been self-employed for what seems like forever, but in fact for this grant you actually fall outside, and this doesn't in any way deal with limited companies. If you're a limited company, this does not apply to you, even though you might consider yourself self-employed. The tax man does not see that. He sees you as an employed business owner, so just bear that in mind as we're talking through the video. Now, in terms of the actual support scheme, it was based on the 18 and 19 tax returns and before. So as I mentioned in the previous videos, you had to have certain criteria to get into this, but if you hadn't got an 18-19 tax return, then you didn't qualify. So, and unfortunately with grant 3, what's known at the moment is it's the same criteria. So if you didn't qualify for the previous 2, which have been and gone now, they closed on the 20th of October, so you can't actually get those anymore, then you had to have been able to get those with the same sort of criteria to get this 3rd grant. Now, it was originally announced that this grant was going to be 20% of your average trading profit, which did not seem particularly good. Bearing in mind that the previous ones were 80% and 70%, in line really with the furlough, but I think they were looking to make this in line with the new job support scheme that's been announced. It's not particularly great either, but I think they've recognised that it doesn't quite work out. So what they have done recently is, as we're recording this sort of a few days ago, is they've announced that they're going to double it. They're going to make it 40%, which I actually think is probably a good idea, because the 4th grant that they announced and announced no details, if this one's 20%, I don't know what the last grant's going to be, but you know, if it's 5-10%, it's going to be pretty poor, almost to the point where it's like, is it worth their admin hassle and everybody else's hassle to apply for it? So, but yeah, 20% was where we were at. Now it's gone to 40. And again, it's very similar to criteria to before. So you're going to have to say that you've been adversely affected by coronavirus. I've spoken about this many times before, but that's quite wide ranging. Just because you might have more cash on hand at the moment for various reasons like bounce back loans and all these things, doesn't mean you haven't been adversely affected. So it's looking at what's happened and making sure you're happy that you have actually had a problem. It could be simple as your productivity's gone low. Like, no one knows what the actual test is, but the wording is you need to be adversely affected. And for this grant, you want to be adversely affected after the 1st of November. You also still need to be trading, or if you've ceased trading because of coronavirus, have the intention to start back up again before April 2021. And again, the idea is this grant covers the period from the 1st of November to the 31st of January 2021. It's going to be paid out in a single instalment covering those 3 months. So as with the previous grants, there is a pound cap, so there's an upper limit. So it's the lower of either 40% or £3,750 per month. So there is a cap as well on top of this percentage. Now, I'd love to be able to tell you, because that's the question you're going to ask, how do I actually get this grant? Well, the answer is, at the time of recording this video, near the end of October, we don't actually know. We presume, based on what's happened in the previous ones, it will be a simple online form. Us mere accountants can't go and apply for it for you. You have to do it for an online login for a government gateway ID. You'd log in, claim it, and then it would be paid to you shortly. Now, because of the type of grant it is, HMRC are the ones that have all the data. They're the ones that decide what the level of the grant is and whether you're eligible. You don't have to put any of that in, you just have to confirm a few statements. As a result, it was very easy in the previous ones. So we're hoping it's the same thing again. Now, just to touch on that fourth grant we mentioned, so this is grant 3 we're talking about, but there will be another grant which is going to go from the 1st of February to the 30th of April, bit of an odd one, but that's just the dates they've picked. Now, that particular grant, there is no details at all. So we're presuming, again, it's going to be a lower percentage because it seems to be the way they're sliding this down. But as those details appear, of course, we will let you know. And I suppose to finish off, one of the things that we should say is these grants are taxable and subject to national insurance. They're going to go on your tax return. So, if you had no other expenses, you would actually pay tax on them. But I know for a lot of people, of course, they're just propping their income up that they'd already lost. So the net effect should be roughly the same. But yeah, do bear in mind, they aren't tax-free. So if you only had that grant, there is a chance that, yeah, you could have a tax bill associated with it. So just bear that in mind. I'm sure there'll be some frustration from those people that weren't eligible for the grants. I know we saw amongst our client base some really horrific, very minor differences because there is a hard line of whether you got those grants or not. And if you were outside of the grants, obviously you're just seeing more and more support given to those that have already had them and nothing for you. So fingers crossed that with a fourth grant, if and when we get there, maybe they will slant the criteria to allow for the 1920 tax return to come into play. But honestly, at this point, that's all complete guesswork. We really don't know. So that's it. So if you've liked this video, make sure to like, subscribe and share it with your network, and we'll see you in the next one.